Hi students, in today's video we're going to do the revision package for the WA1. The topics we will be doing are the coordinate geometry and the algebraic manipulation. Alright, so under the coordinate geometry, basically there are just three formulas that you have to remember. What are they? Right, so if you're given 2 points A and B, right, you need to know how to find the length of AB. And because the length of AB is derived from the Pythagoras theorem, right? If you were to remember Pythagoras theorem is C squared is equals to A squared plus B squared, right? So C, the length for the distance C, it's just square root of A squared plus B squared. Okay, so because it's derived from the Pythagoras theorem, you'll see that the length of AB, that it's a radical sign, or you call it the square roots. Okay, there's a square root symbol there. Okay, right. So what is the second formula you need to know? Yep, second formula is to find the gradient. Right, if you're given 2 points to find the gradients of the line segment, it's just rise over run. So it's just y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Last but not the least, you must know how to find equations of a straight line, which is in the format y equals to mx plus c. Your m represent the gradient of the line and c represent the y-intercept value. So basically for coordinate geometry, these are the three very basic formulas you need to remember. Alright, so after learning all the formulas, or after memorizing all the formulas, the next thing is to the applications part, and that is to use the formula to do some problem solving. So part A of this video, we're going to learn how to use the formulas, okay, to find length of a line segment between these two given points here. The 2 points given are G and H. Okay, so first thing first is that let's write down the formula. Okay, formulas to find here length of AB. So A and B are 2 given points here, but we are not finding length of AB. The points we're given here is G and H. Okay, so this formula is just this 2 points here. Okay, can be any 2 points given in the questions. Okay, it can be G and H, or it can be K and L, it can be C and D, so on and so forth. Okay, right, so first thing first, let's label the points. So let's label the x coordinate of point G as x1, label the y coordinate as y1, x coordinate of point H as x2, y coordinate as y2. Alright, so we're finding the length for GH. Okay, GH, remember it's not AB, it's GH. Okay, the formula is still the same. Whether you find the length of AB or GH or KL, it's still square root bracket x2 minus x1 squared plus bracket y2 minus y1 squared. Alright, then the second thing, the next step is to do the substitution. So the value for x2 is -4. The value for x1 is 6, so it's -4 minus 6 close bracket squared. Value for y2 is 7 minus value for y1 is -3. So make sure you put bracket then -3. Then you bracket it again, another bracket, you square it. Then the next thing is, of course, use your calculator to work this out, and I think that's 14.14 something. Okay, if a question did not actually give you the degree of accuracy, that means the question did not say put the 2 decimal places, put the 3 decimal places, or whatever, then you should always leave the answer the 3 significant figure. So how do you do it? So the first significant figure is a number that's not 0. So from here, 1 is the first significant figure, 4 is the second one, this is the third one, you look at the fourth one. If you want 4 significant, you look at the fifth one. If you want 5 significant, you look at the sixth one. So if you look at the fourth one, this 4 is less than 5. So basically, you just approximate it to 14.1 units. Okay, so this is how you do it. Let's look at another example. Okay, in this case here, you're given point K and L. So likewise, let's label it. So let's label the point as x1, y1, and then x2, y2. Alright, let's write down finding the distance for KL. KL is a Kuala Lumpur? No lah. So square root bracket x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, next thing, do the substitution. Value for x2 is 7 minus value for x1 is negative 2. So make sure you bracket it. So minus bracket negative 2 bracket squared plus open bracket again 23 minus 5 close bracket square. And of course use your calculator to work this out. And you will get a 20.1246, so on and so forth. So that's approximately to 3 significant figures. So this is the first significant, this is the second one, this is the third one. Look at the fourth guy, which is the number 2, so less than 5. So approximately to 20.1 units. Okay, so this is how you actually make use of the distance formula to find length of a line segment given 2 points. Okay, so after learning how to use the formulas to find length of a line segment given 2 points, the next thing is that we need to learn how to use the gradient formula to find gradient of a line segment given 2 points. So let's write down the formula. Okay, formulas for any 2 points, which I call it A and B. So it's rise over run. Formula is rise over run. So rise is refer to your vertical height, so it's y2 minus y1. Run refer to your horizontal distance, which is x2 minus x1. Okay, likewise, label the points. Label the coordinates of the point as x1, y1. And then for point H, label the x coordinate as x2, y coordinate as y2. All right, and then let's write down the formula. So gradient of GH. Okay, if you find writing gradient of GH is so troublesome, there's so many words to write. All you need to do, you can actually use a symbol M. That symbol M. M is a symbol to represent gradient in this coordinate geometry, and then you write the point GH. Okay, right. You can write it this way. Okay, so that will be equals to, write down the formula. It's always good to write down the formula so that the formula will guide you to do a correct substitution. So y2 is 7, y1 is negative 2, so it's 7 bracket negative 2 close bracket over x2 is negative 4 minus 5. And use your calculator to work this out. So you can use the fraction, in your calculator there's this fraction where you have a square bracket over another square bracket. So you just key in 7 minus bracket negative 2, close the bracket, bring the cursor down to the denominator, which is negative 4 minus 5, and you get negative 1 as the gradient. Okay, for part A. Pretty easy. So likewise for part B, what do? Let's label the x coordinate of point K as x1, y coordinate as x coordinate as x1, y coordinate as y1, and then point L, x coordinate as x2, y coordinate as y2. And we write down the formula, finding the gradient for KL. Write down the formula. Again, the formula is important to write down formula because the formula will guide you to do a correct substitution. So y2 is 23 minus y1 is 5 over 7 minus bracket negative 2. Okay, right, do the fraction thingy. 23 minus 5 over 7 minus bracket negative 2. All right, so we have gradient 2. Okay, that's it. Right, so we have learned how to find length of a line segment using the length formula. We have learned how to find gradient of a line segment, all right, using rise over run. Next thing is that we have to learn how to find equations of a straight line. So finding equations of a straight line, there are two ways that possible type of questions that you may face. If you look at part A, all right, you can be given the gradient and then a point, and then from there you form your equations of the straight line. Or if you look at this one is B. if you look at questions part B, it could be given 2 points, and then from there you find equations of a straight line. Okay, what is very important about this question is that you must remember equations of the straight line is in the format. Okay, equations of the straight line is in the format. The formula is y equals to mx plus c. Okay, m is the gradient, c is the y-intercept. In other words, if you want to form equations of a straight line, you need to find gradients. Okay, you need to find the gradients and you need to find the y-intercept value. Okay, sometimes you may have zero gradient or undefined gradient, or that's another story really. But in this example here, we can find the gradient and we can find the y-intercept. So if you look at part A, here the gradient is given to be 3. Right, so that's easy. So how do you make use of this gradient equals to 3? So gradient is actually your m. In the straight line equation, gradient represents the symbol m. So that means m equals to 3. So if you're going to substitute into your y equals to mx plus c, right, then your equation will look like this. The equation okay, but this is not complete. It's not complete. Why is it not complete? Because I need to find the value for this guy. I need to find c. Okay, so where do you think I can find c? Which other informations I have not used yet in part A? I've used the gradient already, right? So which other informations that is given but I have not used it? Yes, this piece of information. You're given point A. We have not used point A. So how do we use point A? Okay, so point A, we know that a point has 2 coordinates, right? The x coordinates and also the y coordinates. So what we can do is that we're going to substitute the x and the y coordinates of point A into this guy. Okay, to help us find the value of c. So we're going to do that. Okay, so we're going to substitute y to be -4, bracket x to be 1 plus c. Okay, so this one which I'm supposed to find, right, because I'm supposed to find c, so I'm going to put it on the left hand side. So 3 times 1 is 3, so I got 3 plus c equals to -4. Okay, I want to make c the subject. I'm interested to find c. So I need to get rid of this 3 means positive 3. I need to get rid of this positive 3. Okay, so in order to get a positive 3, I always do the opposite operation. Positive 3, I need to minus 3. 3 minus 3 then give me 0. So I do the opposite. Plus, opposite of plus is minus. So I minus 3 on both sides. And therefore, I would end up getting c equals to -7. Okay? So, but that's not the end yet, because the straight line equation is y equals to mx plus c. So after you found your c already, what do? You substitute into this equation. So therefore, so you must have a therefore there. Therefore, the therefore is very important. Therefore, the equations of a straight line is y equals to 3x. Your c is -7, so 3x minus 7. So that will be your final answer. Okay, for part B is slightly different. Why part B is slightly different? Because you're not given the gradient. Because you're not given the gradient, so you have to go and find gradient yourself. So that is what we have learned earlier on, right? Given 2 points, you can just find the gradient yourself, right? Okay, so to do that, let's label the points. Not label the points, sorry. Let's label the x and y coordinates of the point as x1, y1. Point B as x2, y2. Let's go on to find the gradient of AB. Write down the formula. Submit the values for y2, which is 5, minus y1 is -3, so it's minus bracket -3 over x2, it's 4 minus 2. So that gives you 8 divided by 2 gives you 4. Okay? Right. Then what do we do? you substitute into your y equals to mx plus c. So we would have y equals to 2. So your 4 is your m. So y equals to 4x plus c. Okay? Then you have to find c, right? Because it's not complete, right? You have to find c. So you're given 2 points there, point A and B. So you just decide which point you want to use. I think I'll use point B because point B has all positive number. Right, so I'm going to substitute my y as 5, my x as 4 plus c. So I would have 16 plus c equals to 5. 16 means positive 16, right? So I need to subtract 16 on both sides. So 5 minus 16. 5 minus 16 will give me negative 11. So therefore, remember the therefore is very important. So therefore, your equations of the straight line will be y equals to gradient we found to be what? 4. Here, this is a gradient, right? So 4x. Your value for c is negative 11. So 4x minus 11. So that's your answer. Okay, so we have learned how to find length, find gradient, find equations of a straight line. Okay, so once we know how to find equations of a straight line, right, let's bring our level a bit higher. As in, for example, if you're given a straight line equations, how are we going to explain to people from this particular straight line equations, what is the gradient and what is the y-intercept value? Okay, so if you can relate earlier on is that if I give you gradient, I give you 2 points, you form your equation. Or I give you 2 points, you find gradient from the equation, right? So now it's I gave you the equation. And then I ask you to tell me your gradient. And I ask you to tell me the y-intercept value. So it's the reverse. Okay? That's what mathematics is all about. It's just like driving a car. You must learn how to go forward, also learn how to go backward. So likewise with the mathematics also. So if you're given the equation, how do I tell? How can I tell what is the gradient? How can I tell what's the y-intercept? So I need to rewrite, okay? I need to rewrite the equation in the format y equals to mx plus c. That means I need to make y the subject here. Okay, so let's look at it now. Okay, so I'm interested in making y the subject, right? So that's 0 into this guy first. Negative 3y. Okay, remember earlier on we said we just do the opposite, right? So negative 3y means I add 3y to both sides. So I plus 3y to both sides. Okay, use a different color so you can see the difference. So I would end up getting 2x plus 6 only on the left hand side and 3y on the right hand side. Okay, so because I want to make y the subject, right, I'm just going to shift. You know, it's like when you do I don't know, have you tried playing seesaw before? Seesaw, you know, if this is A, this is B, right? Sometimes you may just want to change the position, right? You may just want to change position, right? Sometimes you get too bored of sitting on one side and then you just tell your friend, hey, I want to go the other side, you know, that kind of thing. Same thing lah. Okay, for math, it's the same. So I'm going to put 3y on the left hand side and then 2x plus x on the right hand side. Okay. The next thing is that I want to find y. Y means 1y. 1y. So remember we always do the opposite when we solve equation, right? So 3y means 3 times y. 3 times y. So opposite of times is divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. Okay, every term divide by 3. So you will have y. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And then this one will become 2/3 x. Okay, you can put x as in the middle. And then 6 divided by 3 is 2. Okay, and then you compare it with our favorite guy. Our favorite guy is y equals to mx plus c. Our favorite guy is y equals to mx plus c. Then from there, you can do a comparison. And then can you see that your m, which is a gradient, is 2/3. So therefore, the therefore is very important. If you can reach the therefore means you're almost there already. So therefore gradient is 2/3. Then the y-intercept value, which is the value of C, is this blue color 2. Okay, right, that's how you do it. Okay, so we have done some very basic stuff for coordinate geometry. We learned how to find length, find gradient, find equations, and then we also learned how to do the reverse, given equations, find gradient, y-intercept. Now let's go on to chapter 2. Of course, there are more to coordinate geometry than what I've done. We're just doing some basic stuff only. So chapter 2 is algebraic manipulation that start off by doing some factorization. Okay, factorization. So factorization, basically, it's you just put it in bracket, put in linear factors. So when you ask to do some factorization, it means you will be given some a lot of the terms, a lot of terms, and then finally, you can just do some manipulations, okay, and then finally put them in brackets. Okay, that's what it means by factorization. So basically, you're just taking out common factors. Okay, factorization means okay, let's write it out here. Common factorization means you're just taking out common factors. Okay, just taking out common factors. All right, so if you look at part A, okay, see that this is your common factor. This guy here is a common factor, right? So I'm just going to take it out. Okay, so when you take out this, I'm left with A. Make sure there's a bracket. A. Plus is still plus, no problem. And then take out the left B. And there we are. That's it. Okay, we have factorized it into bracket. Okay, part B is slightly more confusing. Okay, because part B we have to find our own common factors first. Part A, the common factors has already been found for you, so life is easier. Part B, life is tougher lah. You must go and find your own bread and butter. Okay, but it's not difficult. Okay, there are 4 terms there. This is 1 term, 2 term, 3 term, 4 term. So we're going to group them. Group all these 4 terms. Take it as 4 friends. Put them into 2 groups. Every group, 2 friends. So I'm going to put these 2 together. And then these 2 together. Okay? Okay, let's look at your first 2 friends. What's the common factor there? Yes, the common factor is A. A is a common factor. So let's take it out. Okay, done. Then go on to the next guy. Next to them, turn what's a common factor? Yes, you see y there. Y. So we take out y. Then you have 2x minus b. What happened next? What we have done here is something like part A, right? Yes, we have found our common factor, which is 2x minus b. Okay. So what do we do? Yes, we take out the 2x minus b. Okay, so this is how we do factorization. Basically, just put them in bracket. All right, done. Factorization done. Okay, so under this algebraic manipulations, you must also learn how to expand, do expansions. Okay, so expansion is the opposite of factorization. Okay, basically factorization is to put bracket, right? Now can you see? Expansion is to open up the bracket. Okay, go back. Open up the bracket, go back into term kind of format. So how do we do it? Okay, we're going to use distributive law. So there are 2 brackets here, right? 2 brackets. I can't really shade this one. Yeah, never mind. Just use a different color. Okay, there are 2 brackets here. Okay, so look at the first bracket. The first term in the first bracket is P. So I'm going to take P, multiply into your second bracket. Okay, then go back again to your first bracket, second term of your first bracket, which is positive 1. Multiply into your second bracket. Okay, this should be easy. So we take p times 2p, 2p squared. P times negative 3, negative 3p. 1 times 2p, 2p. 1 times negative 3, negative 3. Okay, you see this is same family. Same family, I got p, you also got p. So same family. Alright, so we can actually simplify that. Negative 3 plus 2, that will give you negative 1. Negative 1, so that means it's negative p only. Okay, so this is how you do expansion. Okay, so we learn how to do expansion, factorization, and then the next part that's required of you for your WA1 is you must learn how to combine two algebraic fractions. So here you're given two algebraic fractions. How do you combine them into one single one? So if you recall, you must have done something like that in your primary school. How do you solve it? You find your common denominator, right, which is 3 times 4, right? So what do? You just take 3 times 4, 2 times 4, right? Then for the other guy, you take 4 times 3, then 1 times 3, right? Remember you did something like that in your primary school? Okay? Get 8 minus 3. Okay, never mind. I don't think we need to continue. We're not doing primary school math. We're doing secondary school math. But the concept is the same, right? So what is the denominator? Draw a huge line. The denominator will be this. There's nothing common in them, nothing common. So you just multiply them. You multiply them, okay? You put two brackets there, bracket, bracket. All right, so what do? You just take 2. So basically, if you were to see what we have done here, you just basically take 2 times 4, right? That means it's just a cross like that. Okay, just a cross like that. So you take 2 times bracket 2x minus 1, then minus 3 times x plus 2. Just okay. So and then we're going to expand, open up the bracket. So 2 times 2x will be 4x. 2 times negative 1 will be negative 2 minus 3x. Okay, this is the tricky part here where some of you may make mistake here, so you need to be very, very careful. Okay, very, very careful. Negative 3 times positive 2 will give you negative 6. Negative 6. Okay, right, you have to be very respectful when you're dealing with brackets. If you're not respectful to brackets, right, you will just make mistake Okay, 4x minus 3x will just give you x. Negative 2 minus 6. You can key in your calculator, give you negative 8. Alright, so this is how you do it. Alright, so we have gone through all the basics. Okay, all the basics of what we need to prepare ourselves for WA1, your coordinate geometry, your algebraic manipulations. So the next few questions are taken from your weighted assessment 1 mock 2. Alright, so I hope you have already done those questions. So let's go through it. Right, so first question is expand and simplify. So what do? We take the first term here, which is 2x. Okay, distribute it to your second bracket, which is 4x plus 5y. Go back to your first bracket, the second term in the first bracket, which is negative 3y. Distribute it to your second bracket, which is 4x plus 5y. Okay, so that's expander. So you have 2x times 4x. So we do the number first. Take 2 times 4 first, that gives you 8. And then x times x, so that gives you x squared. Okay, so 2x times positive 5y. So we do the number first. 2 times positive 5, that gives you positive 10. Then x times y, give you xy. Okay, so when you do math, you have to do it in a systematic way. If you do it in a systematic way, then you won't get it wrong. Okay, so this is where be careful. Okay, it's negative 3. So it's negative 3 times 4 first. Negative 3 times 4 gives you negative 12. And then y times x. Y times x is yx, but you can write it as xy. Okay, and then go back to negative 3 again. So it's negative 3 multiplied with a positive 5. So that gives you negative 15. And then y times y. Okay, y times y give you y squared. Right, so it is not difficult, but you have to be very careful. Okay, so we have something that you can simplify here. Okay, I have xy, 10xy. I have xy and then I have negative 12xy, the same family. Both of them got xy, xy. Okay, if I got xy, you also got xy, we are same family. But if you got xy and I have xyz, then we are not same family. Okay, we are not same family. Right. Okay, so 10xy minus 12xy, 10 minus 12. Just use a calculator if you have problem managing it. It's okay lah, because sometimes, you know, in the exam when you're stressed, you can't really function well. Just use calculator, no big deal. So 10 minus 12 will give you negative 2xy minus 15y squared. Okay, that's the answer. Okay, so remember these questions we have done earlier on, something like that, not this question, not exactly the same, but some same kind. Factorize completely. Okay, we have 4 friends there, so we need to put them in 2 brackets. Okay, 2 brackets. So to do that, we need to do some grouping. So I'm going to group these 2 fella into one group, the other 2 fella into another group. Okay, let's look at the first group. Any common factor you can see there? 5ax, 2bx. Can you see any common factor there? Yes, x. I'm sure you can see that. So I'm going to take out x. So 5ax, if I take out x, I'm left with 5a. Plus is still plus. Okay, just continue writing plus. 2bx, if you take out x, you're left 2b. Okay, now let's look at your second bracket. Second bracket. Can you see any common factor there? Yes, your y is your common factor, right? Y is a common factor. Sorry. Y is your common factor. Right, so we're going to take out your y. Negative y. And then you have 10a. Okay? 4b. Okay, now this is a tricky part. Okay, and I need to decide what to put here. Is it a positive or a negative? Now, if I put a positive, what will happen? If I work backwards, right? If I put a positive and I work backwards, right? Plus times minus. It will give me a negative here, right? Which is what I want, right? But if I put a negative, some people will put negative. So I'm going to put negative because here is negative, so you will just say, okay, if here is negative, I follow negative here also. Here negative, I also put here negative lah. What's wrong? Okay, we try and see what happened. I do like that. What happened? Negative times negative, you give you positive, right? But look at the red arrow there. The red arrow tells us that it has to be a negative there. It cannot be a positive. So what does it tell you? So it tells you that this guy here must be positive, cannot be negative. Okay? Alright, then you look at the questions again. There's nothing common. What am I going to do? Nothing common. Okay, then you go back and look at the number 10 and 4. 10 and 4? Oh yeah, there's a common factor there. 10 and 4. 2. Because 2 times 2 give me 4 and 2 times 5 give me 10. So I can still take out 2. That means basically I can take out 2y. So I would have 10 divided by 2, 5a, positive. 4 divided by 2 give me 2. B. And then what happened? Yes, you see that you have a common factor here. Where I can just take it out. Okay. Is there another way of doing it? Can I do some other, grouping? You know what I mean? Sometimes you may not want to group. You may want to join another group, right? Sometimes your teacher put you in this group. You say, I don't like it. I want to go in another group. So can you rearrange this one to form other groups? Yes, I'm sure you can, right? I think we can try to do that. How about I put 5ax with negative 4by. Oh, but then there's no common factor, so I don't put it with negative 4by. No common factor. Maybe I put 5ax with negative 10ay. Will they have any common factor? I think so, right? I would have a and also 5, right? And then I put 2bx, right? Group it with negative 4by. Okay? So I can also do it this way, right? So if I do it this way, then what happened? Yes. What happened? Let's see, let's see what happened. So this one is naughty, not naughty lah, wrong. This one is you're not satisfied with your teacher's grouping. You want to form your own grouping. Okay? Right. So let's look at these two guys. So the common factor will be 5a. So you can take out x. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Right. And then this one here, the common factor will be 2b. So you have left x minus 2y. What happened? Yes, we form our own common factor already. So that is equals to 5 common factor. Take out your common factor, which is bracket. And what happened? Yes, you get the same answer as the above. Okay? They're the same. Why are they the same? I'll give you one example. 2 times 3. You get 6, right? Instead of writing 2 times 3, I can write 3 times 2 also, right? You still get 6. So it doesn't matter. Okay, both of them are the same. They are the same. Okay, so sometimes maybe you have to form your own grouping. If you're not happy with the grouping that the teacher formed for you, then you form your own grouping. Alright, so this is how you do question 2. Okay, this question is slightly more challenging. Why slightly more challenging? Because it involves factorization. And what is the factorization that involved here? This guy here. Okay, this is the troublemaker. Alright, this is the troublemaker. Okay, this one you have to factorize it. Okay, and this one to factorize it, you must recall this guy lah. This is one of the algebraic identity, very important. So x squared minus 16. 16 you can write it as 4 squared because 4 times 4 is 16. If you're not too sure, you can just square root 16. Square root 16 give you 4. So 16 is 4 squared. And then your a will be just your x. Okay, and then your b will just be your 4. So you factorize it into a is your x, right? So x, and then b is 4, right? So you factorize into bracket x minus 4, close bracket, go back to x again, but this case here is plus, and then 4. Okay, so the denominator will be x minus 4, x plus 4. And for the other fraction will be just x plus 4. Okay? So you realize that I can't just do cross like that. I can't. Right, because I don't need to. Okay, because I don't need to. Why don't need to? Because can you see that I already have a common factor here? You cannot do that. Never mind. I can only underline. This guy and this guy, same, right? Same family. Just put the bracket and then they become same already. Bracket x plus 4. Okay. So in other words, the common denominator is just x minus 4 and x plus 4. Okay. So I don't need to do anything to this guy. Because the denominator is exactly what I have at the bottom. So just 1 can already. But for this guy, okay, this guy, what is lagging there? What's lagging? If you compare, I'm supposed to have 2 bracket, right? I'm supposed to have 2 bracket, bracket 1, bracket 2. So this guy only got bracket 2. So I need to multiply with the bracket 1. Okay, so this becomes 2 bracket x minus 4. Right, expand it. 2x minus 2 times 4 is 8. And then 1 minus 8 is negative 7. So this is how you solve it. There's no need to expand your denominator. That's how you do it. Okay? I hope you got this answer correct. Okay, this one is easier. This one definitely is easier. Why definitely is easier? Because can you see that the denominator are really not the same family? Okay, this guy, if you just put the bracket there, is x plus 3. This is the Adams family. And then the other guy, the bracket x plus 2, it's the Robert family. So they are two different families, are not the same. So if you're not the same, there's nothing common. So your denominator will just be multiply both family together. Okay, multiply both family together. So the Adams family, I need to multiply with the Roberts family. The Robert family need to multiply with the Adams family. Okay, then we expand. 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 1 times x is negative x. Negative 1 times positive 3 is negative 3. Two x minus x is x. 4 minus 3 is positive 1. That's the answer. Oh, interesting. Oh, why interesting? X plus 2, x plus 1, x plus 3. Okay. Right, so enough of doing algebra. Let's get back to coordinate geometry. So we are given a equation of a straight line. This is the equations of a straight line. Hopefully you can remember. Okay, it's always like that. You do algebra, you forgot coordinate geometry. You do coordinate geometry, you forgot algebra. Whatever you do today, tomorrow you forget. So how to remember? You have to revise your work every day. Okay, you have to revise your work every day, and then you have to practice doing more questions. Where to find the questions? You can find these questions from your textbook. Okay, or you can redo your mock 1, mock 2, redo all these quizzes, mock 1, mock 2, redo them. Okay, right. So this is the equations of a straight line, and from there you are asked to find what is the gradient, what's the y-intercept value. So how do you do it? Yes, we need to rewrite this in your straight line. Your straight line is y equals to mx plus c. That means basically I need to make y the subject. Okay, this question is easy. You have given the questions like that in the exam or in the test, you should jump for joy. Because it's already 2y. All you need to do is make it y. 2y means 2 times y, right? Or what is opposite of times? Division. So you just basically divide by 2. Divide by 2. So 2y divided by 2 will give you y. And then that will give you 3 over 2x. Negative 8 divided by 2. Just use your calculator. Okay, don't be shy. Don't feel that, oh, so simple. No, sometimes in the exam you get stressed. So just use your calculator. Negative divided by 2, negative 4. And then compare with your y equals to mx plus c. What happened? So m is a gradient. M is a gradient. So therefore, okay, remember this therefore is very important. Therefore, gradient is equals to 3 over 2. Y-intercept value, that is your c. It's not y minus, it's y-intercept value. So y-intercept value c is equals to, be careful, it's negative 4. There's a negative 4. There's a negative there. So you must take the sign. Take it along. Okay, so it's negative 4, not 4. Okay, so question 6 should be easy. Really, just find gradient of the line AB, just basically applying the formula only. So first thing first is to label your point as x1, y1. And then point B as x2, y2. So to find gradient, write down the formula, rise over run. Always write down the formula, that will help you to do a correct substitution. So y2 is negative 1 minus 3. X2 is 4 minus bracket negative 2. Okay, you can use your calculator to work this out. Use the fraction symbol in your calculator. Negative 1 minus 3 over 4 minus bracket negative 2. Negative 2/3. So your gradient is negative 2/3. Okay, how about the length? To find length, write down the formula. It's a square root. Okay, derived from Pythagoras theorem. So square root bracket x2 minus x1 squared plus bracket y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, x2 it's 4 minus bracket negative 2 close squared plus open negative 1 minus 3 close squared. Okay, use a calculator to work this out. 4 minus bracket negative 2 close squared plus open negative 1 minus 3 close squared. 7.2111 put to 3 significant figure. So this is first, this is second, third. Look at the fourth guy. Fourth guy is 1, so basically you can just throw it away lah. Less than 5, you can just forget it. After decimal place, right? Less than 5, you can just forget it. With 7.21 units, that's how we do it. Okay, don't give up. We're coming to the end really very soon. Last questions. Okay, find the grade equations of the line BC. Equations of the line BC. If you look at line BC, so we know the equations. You know the equations is, what is the formula for finding equations of a straight line? Can you try to remember? Yes, it's y equals to mx plus c, right? So I need to find the gradient. M is your gradient, and then you need to find c, right? So let's find gradient. Okay, but is it necessary to find gradient here? You see, this is a horizontal line. Gradient refers to the steepness of the line, right? So if you're walking on the floor horizontally, there's no steepness. That means the steepness is 0. It's just a ladder. You see, this is a ladder. You place a ladder on the floor. 0 steepness. What is the gradient? Yes, the gradient is 0. Okay, gradient is 0. So y will be equals to 0 times x plus c. So 0 times x is 0 plus c. 0 plus c is c. 0 plus c is c. Okay, what is c? C is the y-intercept value. So what is your y-intercept value? So I'm going to extend this line longer and see where it's a horizontal line. Huh? Horizontal line. So what do you think is this value here? That value will be a y-coordinate, right? Yes, the y-coordinate, which is the same. Can you see? Your y-coordinate for point B is 9. The y-coordinate point C is 9. So this guy here, okay, your x-coordinate is 0. On the y-axis, x-coordinate is 0. Y-coordinate is 9. So therefore, it's y equals to 9. That will be the equations of BC. Hi, it looks simple, no? But you will be surprised that some of you may struggle to know the answer. So horizontal line, there's no steepness, 0 steepness. So therefore, gradient is 0. So if gradient is 0, basically your equation is just y equals to your y-coordinate value lah. Your y-intercept value. Okay? Okay, so for this questions, part B, right, maybe it's easier than part A for some of you. Because there's something you can find, there's something, the gradient, you can find gradient here. It's not a horizontal line, not a vertical line, so you can find gradient. Okay, so we want to find equations of the line AC. So first thing first, let's label the point as x1, y1, x2, y2. Alright, so let's find gradient. Write down the formula. Keep writing the formula a few times, many times, then you'll remember it. So 9 minus 1 over 8 minus 2. So that gives you 9 minus 1 over 8 minus 2. That gives you 4 over 3. So your equation is y equals to mx plus c, right? Mx plus c. Always remember that y equals to mx plus c. So m is your gradient, which is 4/3 x plus c. So I still need to find c, right? Okay, so remember how we do that earlier on? There are 2 points there, point A and B. Right, so which point you want to use? Yes, I would use this point because it's smaller value, 2 and 1 is smaller in value than 8 and 9. So I'm going to substitute your y to be 1, your x to be 2. Okay, remember the seesaw thing that I told you? Change position. 4/3 times 2 is 8 over 3. Make sure you move your whole body over. When I say whole body means there are two terms here. Make sure you move the both of these two terms here. Can you see? If it's two terms on the right, move all the two terms to the left. Okay. So there's only one term here, one. So you just move it one here. All right, then I need to make C the subject, isn't it? So 8 over 3 means positive 8 over 3. So opposite of plus is minus. So 1 minus 8 over 3. Use your calculator to work this out. It will give you negative 5 over 3. Okay? This is the important, this is the last part that all of you will love. What is it? Yes, the therefore thing. So therefore, y is equals to gradient for third x. Your C is negative 5 over 3. That's the answer. Okay, let's come to part C. Oh, I just realized something. You know what is it I realized? Okay, on the diagram, point A is 2, 1. That's correct. You see, the question says point A is 2, 2, 13. This is not correct. It makes sense to have 2, 1. Because you can't have point A, y coordinates to be 13, but 13 will be above point B and C. You know what I mean? The y coordinates of point B is 9. Your point A is below point B and C, right? So how can a y coordinate be bigger than 9? It has to be smaller, right? So change it. Oh, because I just look at the diagram and now then I realize. So change it, remember. Point A is 2, 1. Okay, so find equations of AB. So from what we have done earlier on, you should know how to do already. Label the point of A as x1, y1, x2, y2. We find AB. Okay, AB. Okay, gradient. Nine minus 1 over 4 minus 2. 9 minus 1 over 4 minus 2. 4. The gradient is 4. So the equations will be 4x plus c. Okay? Because you substitute into your y equals to mx plus c. Then the next thing is that you can use point A or point B. As usual, I'm going to use point A. So y coordinate is 1. X coordinate is 2. So that will give me 4 bracket 2 plus c. The seesaw thing again. 8 plus c equals to 1. 8. Positive 8. Opposite of plus is negative. So minus 8 on both sides. So 1 minus 8. Coming to the therefore part. I always like the therefore. Therefore, y is equals to 4x minus 7. So that's the answer. Okay, so that concludes the revision package for your WA1. Please, okay, do your best. Right.